Focus. Focus upon me. No, focus on me. What is this? What is this? Because they know what I'm going to talk about today. Welcome, my family. He's got a steeping, you can see the coffee. He's got a big coffee today. That's a double coffee. It's a double threat. Yes, we are. We are. We are almost at 3,000 subs, Veronique. Welcome, everybody. Josie's super stoked. Billy, I sold some stuff to Billy and 4C. Welcome, everybody. And there she is, everybody's favorite, the original gangsters. Catherine. Tony, welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming on in today. Today is one of those days where we get it very, very hot. It's going to be hot today. It's going to be hot. First, I want to talk about what's going on with humanity. So first, we're going to talk about all of these. And he never uses the word integration, but here he is. All these shadow integrations that are going on. And there are opportunities. And I'm sure you're seeing these people. People are straight up losing their minds in the best ways possible and in the worst ways possible. I'm having the most powerful people I know, my very near and dear ones. And then, 2 days in a row. Look at these card readings. I trust this. We stepped into a bigger container, my family, as a collective. Regardless of what size your spirit body was, your light body was, the light body has gotten bigger. And when the light body gets bigger, okay, let's picture this this little center bead right here. We'll picture, or is right here in the center. We'll picture that's the person. And we'll picture their original field is around these three triangles. If all of a sudden this whole full circle becomes the full field that we've now stepped into overnight, with the clap of our hands, with the flash of light, with the solar flare, with these crystals that have been turned on inside the planet, with these ancient technologies that have been lying dormant that have been turned on inside the planet. People are now stepping into a bigger field. And regardless of how big the field was, we've all stepped into what we were ready for. So when this circle gets bigger, it dips below the ground more, regardless of where you were. And when we dip below the ground more, we're going into the underworld more. We're starting to access more shadow. When we access the shadow, it's the shadow that we actually turn into fruit. It's the shadow where we get the nutrients, where we get the water to bring that up the trunk of the spiritual tree to turn this into fruit, my family. So this is part of the process. This is something that we should absolutely, positively be processing. What is it that you're processing? We are processing our things that we had to be, our boundaries have tested last time. Money worries, sex addiction, drug addiction, whatever it is that's going on in your life, it's being tested right now. And this is what's happening for your loved ones. And some people are really struggling with this stuff. And I find it interesting because I know that more often than not, things come up in Sedona before they seem to come up with the rest of the collective. So if I'm talking about this and you're like, Alexander, I have no idea what you're talking about, I'm not co-creating this for you. I'm just referencing what I've seen and what's been taking place. I wanted to normalize whatever's going on in your body, any pains in between your shoulder blades. Many of us had more wings come in. So I have a little stretch for that. I want to actually show you guys. You know what? I'll just do it right now. This is game changer, okay? Always ask your doctor before doing anything that Galactic Tarot or Alexander says here on the channel, by the way. But what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands together like this. You're going to lock your fingers and make sure your elbows are nice and even and straight. And you pull as hard as you can. And you'll feel which way your ear wants to go. But you kind of just gently wag your head back and forth, pulling harder. And you go straight, breathing, and then relax. And then you do the opposite side. Lock the fingers nice and straight, pull apart. There it goes. My neck just clicked. You might have something click. Pull real hard, not too hard, obviously. Ladies with your fingernails, sorry. The medial rhomboids, there's a diamond shape in the back. Oh, God, doesn't that feel better, my family? Write that out in the comments. The medial rhomboids have had more wings come out. It's like, it's like we got so many wings. I don't know. They're starting to come out the front here, my family. The medial rhomboids have, for many of us, have been acting up. Some people have their feet acting up. It's almost like those like Mercury wings are coming in. A lot of what's going on is ascension symptoms. I wanted to explain that here in the beginning. I wanted to also like get into this whole thing that was coming up with time. So I think that's unless if there's any comments here talking about what's going on here. So we got anything here? Katie, welcome. Katie's here, everybody. Ba-boom. Hello, Josie. Carrie Lynn, welcome. Yanaka, an epic name. Yasina, my God, where have you been? I got you something that my heart told me is Ali. If you're going to say my name short, he no longer responds to Alex. But I tried messaging. Oh, of course, Yasina, welcome, my sister Joanne. Welcome everybody, and Nancy. Oh my God! And then the comments just skipped ahead. Welcome everybody, Stacy. I see you, Stacy. I see you, Nancy. All right, I can't keep doing this for everybody. Okay, moving on. Everybody has been welcomed. If you're seeing this later, I welcome you. Please gently caress the subscribe button. We are, I don't even know. I think it's like 5 away. Last time I checked, it was $29.95. We're almost at 3,000. What are we going to do at 3,000, my family? Something. He's going to do something. I'll have to do some more free readings or something. Welcome to this loaded broadcast. Today we will be talking about time. We'll be talking about the cube. We'll be talking about the Tesseract. This is going to be the short version, which is going to be a lot of information still. But I want to do an intro into my course material, my program that's coming up very soon. Very, very, very excited about this. I'm working on this diligently, my family, to create all the course material for you. So without further ado, let me start writing these times down. 7:45. 7:45. Okay? Time doesn't exist. Okay? This expression that is callously thrown around in spirituality that I do not agree with personally. I'm going to explain today why I do not agree with this. But as I asked you last time, and as I applaud you, if you want to, I'm up to having a conversation about everybody's belief structures. Welcome, Amanda. Welcome, Billy. Welcome, everybody. I'm up to having a conversation, but here's where it lies. What is the benefit in believing that time doesn't exist? Please answer me that. If you think it's some sort of reverse aging or something that's going on like that, Alexander's a few months away from turning 41. So I don't know if I really buy that, because I've been sitting here having this controversy and within myself and sitting with this paradox and keeping in mind that in advanced Hermeticism, in any Hermeticism, as a matter of fact, which is the teaching of Hermes, Thoth, in every paradox, there's truth, and every truth is untruth, and in every untruth, there's truth. So I get it if that's been working for you, but I just want to hear if you can even come up with anything. What is the benefit here? Because I think that this is high order manipulation, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today. I wanted to talk about the cube. I wanted to talk about time, and not so much space, but also like this whole like connection to the space stone in the Marvel movies was the Tesseract. They called it the Tesseract. This whole time and space, this connection between time and space, this connection between this 1-inch cube, once again, that is talked about with Hermeticism, this 1-inch cube that is talked about with the Taoist. They talk about one of these eyes being the sun, one of them being the moon, and this 1-inch by 1-inch cube in between the eyes. This is something that I refer to as the nation of the Magi, the Magi nation, the Magi. What's on the deck of the tarot? Okay, that brought us all together here, my family. Okay, so this whole time doesn't exist, and the lack of benefits in this, I think it weakens the spells. And because time is the shape of 4D, so this is a dimensional body that is being embodied and, lack of better words, integrated. I don't like using this word because it means to enter a grate, which sounds good, but it's a grate is actually a metal grate. Okay, it's like jail bars almost. So the shape of 4D being this tesseract, being this fourth dimensional shape that is believed that our minds are not intelligent enough to comprehend, which many of you out there are like, what is that even? That doesn't even make sense. Like, absolutely, it does, can be comprehended. Catherine, watch Moon Knight. Nancy saying, everything is happening all at once, past, present, future, and time is an illusion. I get that. But stick with me. I'll explain more into this. All right. So the Tesseract. So let me first, I'm going to share the screen. Okay. So let's hit the present button. Let's say share screen. Share screen. Let's go entire screen. And then let's click on this, and then let's hit share, and then let's open up my first picture. Is this it? I hope so. I hope this isn't just a picture of Alexander flexing. I'm just kidding. What is that like wonky thing that's flipping around on there? Okay, is it? Can I just make that stop happening? Looks crazy on the screen. All right, let me see. Did that fix it? Did that fix it? Not so much, but you see, this is a salt crystal, okay? This is what I wanted to get into today, is talking about the fact that this shape right here and these are tesseracts. You're seeing a cube inside of a cube. This is what salt is shaped like, okay? So, because I'm going to be going through the salt today, and I want to show you this as well. Okay, this is the tesseract. So this is the shape of the tesseract. This is the shape of the salt. So when we see the shape of the salt, when we see the shape of the tesseract, okay, I can shut all this down now. Okay, we'll pop that back up later. And we'll go back here, okay? When we see the shape of the tesseract in the cube, we can see that they're one and the same. So by embodying this and knowing this whole belief structure, if somebody knows that time doesn't exist, that becomes your life. Be life, be belief. When our belief structure wraps itself around this thing that time doesn't exist, I'm going to explain to you right now why this is limiting. Every word that I'm saying right now, every word that you're saying, whether you're in agreement or not, when we breathe, there are little particulates of saliva coming out of my mouth. When saliva is coming out of my mouth, saliva has salt in it. When salt exists, salt is a cube. So it is our words that are connected biologically to time. And when we are speaking our spells, our belief structures, this is why there's this importance in speaking the right way, speaking positively, beyond even speaking positively, speaking where things go a direction. Brother Michael, welcome. It's going tremendously. Tremendous. The things we know. Alyssa made it here too. Okay, so what Alexander just proved to you, just showed to you, is in my own belief structure. What I found out scientifically, metaphysically, this is all the stuff that's connected to the Platonic solids. It's the Platonic solids that are the building blocks of life. So by looking at one of them as if it doesn't exist, the cube, this six-sided cube that then has another six-sided cube inside of it to go from third density to fourth density, this fluxing and moving cube shape, which is something that as a shaman, I've had to use thousands of times for more advanced purposes and boxing up beings and crossing things over. But to know that your speech is affecting time from this present moment. So I hear what you said, Nancy. I love what you said. This past, present, future, this connection of past, present, future. Let me go reread that comment one more time. Let's pop it back up. Everything is happening at once. Past, present, future. Time is an illusion. If we believe time is an illusion, in my words, this is something that these this is something that these false beings want you to believe. They want you to think that time's an illusion. It's in time right now in my belief structure. And keep in mind, it doesn't matter what your belief structure is. If your belief structure is strong enough and you know it to be true, that is what this reality will wrap itself around. That is what will manifest in your reality. But let me show you the benefits, Nancy and whoever else, in believing that time does exist. And I hear you, but that's not knowing that the past, present, and future are all one, as you just said, that still is not a reason why I can be swayed. Like, I'm looking for somebody to have a definitive reason why there's a benefit in me believing time doesn't exist. Okay. Because with time, I can program the future. With time, I can see where Gaia is going to be in which astrological sign in the cosmos. And I can actually use math, astronomy, and astrology to actually leave a cloud, to leave a fog, to leave a ball of light, to leave an energetic frequency where I'm headed. And I can only do that with time. So my thoughts are coming from the cube, the imagination, and my words, everything that's coming out of my mouth is putting salt into this ether. This salt is coming out of my mouth, and that is how I'm programming my physical reality. By programming my physical reality, spiritual forces, soul forces, mental forces take place, being all mind, and then those things wrap themselves around my future manifestations. So right there, I've just seen so many manifestations, so many empowerments, and so many belief structures of like us actually doing some co-creation together. These beings that wanted us to believe that time doesn't exist, these are the same beings that left a lot of this stuff. These people are right off of Wall Street. These people have tricked many of you, and I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, but they've tricked us into calling them Luciferian. Lucifer actually means light body. So we've been calling them the light body ones when they're not even praying to Lucifer. There's everything. If you do any research on who and what these things are actually praying to, they're sea witches. They are not the highest on any sort of demonic totem pole. Any of this stuff gets is Baal and Baphomet. It's not even Satan, because Satan is Saturn. Satan is Saturn and Cronus, and that's time. Satan, Saturn, Saturnus, Rome, where the last of these things got manipulated was in Rome. I have Roman blood in my body. I know this stuff. I've done more research than I don't even know. A lot of research. I've done a lot of research, spiritual research, meditative research, but the physical research has led me to this word Saturnus. This is actually the old name for Rome. These are the last of the people that took the gods, that took the information, that took the days of the week, when we're the strong ones, when we bring all this together, my family. These are the ones. It's like I blame my own blood. We're all responsible for this. Like every single one of us. It doesn't matter if you I got the ancient, I got the Cabal, I got this, I got that. Oh, I'm from the school of this. I'm from the school of Constantine. I'm a priestess. I'm a druid. I'm a dryad. We all made mistakes across time and space. We all made mistakes across history. And these are the things that we need to dissolve and transmute to get back to the power. Because where there is unworthiness, there is still lack. And that is putting lack and unworthiness into the spell that we're casting, regardless of if we go, oh, well, I have to do this and I'm trying to do that. It's these things from the past that as the container dips down lower below the ground and dips up higher into the sky and expands around us, we have to get ready for the bodies that we're stepping into. And sometimes you get ready for the body by just being thrust into it. That's why I wanted to, I don't know if you guys saw the daily. That's why I put up that scene from Spaceballs where he's like, ludicrous speed. I was having the parody of Darth Vader. I was having Dark Helmet represent the shadow, and the colonel there is basically us, or our angelic, saying that's too fast. Many of us are seeing like we're going, things feel like we're going so fast now, and we're not, guys. We're behind schedule. Like at the end of the day here and at the beginning of the day and right now, we are behind schedule, and we've got work to do to get this entire play called life back together. Okay. So this whole Lucifer being Venus, the morning star, and Satan being Saturn, to just wrap up that thought. This is all connected to the cube. Nicole, good job. You'll see this later, I'm sure. The whole Satan's cube thing, this black cube that's certain people that worship the moon. Not going to say that. I'm not accusing anybody here. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter where your school of thought is. It doesn't matter if it blatantly just looks dark, looks light, it looks this, it looks that. Nobody has 100% the truth. It makes me laugh when I see people like, here in Sedona, whether it's in the steam room or the sauna, over here, over there at a meeting, and they're arguing, they're yelling, they're QAnon, this thing. It's like nobody has even 2% of the truth. That is not Buddhism, not Christianity, no one. We are all grasping at threads of truth. Now, here's what I love. I love your truth. I love you being in your truth. I think that us living in our truth, whether our truth is ultimate truth or not, is what will reverse and slow down the aging process. And I think the people that you see that are aging like crazy right now, it's because they're not living in truth. And never thought I'd be quoting Tucker Carlson here on the channel, but Tucker Carlson said, truth is the iron law of the universe. And I agree with that. And I agree with a lot of things I've been seeing. I know people like have gotten angry when I mention Kanye or Tucker Carlson or this thing or that thing. It doesn't matter if somebody else is speaking your truth. It matters if they are speaking their truth. But when we speak our truth, we should not be speaking it from ignorance. We should not be speaking it like it's the only way, in a reality that can fold itself around truth, that can show you Mandela effects and different ways of seeing and being. What is your truth, and what is the truth where you came from might not be the truth where you are standing. I know for a fact my Disney white VHS cassette tape when I was a child said mirror, mirror on the wall. That's been changed. There are people that think that I'm crazy for saying that. I am one of the few people, or the only person on this planet, that has proven Mandela effects. And that's one of them that I've proven. If you go and watch the 1938 German version of this directly from the transcription, it says Spiegeln, Spiegeln. It says Spiegeln, Spiegeln an der Wand. It says mirror, mirror on the wall. If you go watch that movie, if somebody in Germany has a copy of the old original Disney cassette, it, at least last time I checked, it still said Spiegeln, Spiegeln an der Wand. Okay, this is proof. The people that said we were crazy, the people that said we were conspiracy theorists, the people that said we were wrong. No, that's the reality I'm from. If you're from a reality when you were a kid and it said magic mirror on the wall, welcome. I'm your brother, Alexander. I'm traversing through your reality. I've actually stumbled through your reality on my path to ascension. You want to come with? You coming with me? I'm clearly ascending. I see miracles. I can prove miracles. I've seen them. I see them every day. I'm seeing more and more miracles every single day. I go look at my old notes. Say I used to write down one miracle a month. Then I was writing down 2 a month. Then I was writing down 1 a week. Now I'm literally seeing, I can't say impossibilities because they're happening, but I'm literally writing down and seeing mathematical improbabilities every single day. Every single day, numerous a day, like that's a miracle, that's a miracle, that's a miracle, that's a miracle. How is that even possible? I walk out in the backyard and they paved the road I was just driving on. like within 20 minutes. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Technology, like maybe something happened. I didn't hear a sound. A truck didn't go by. Nothing. There was a gray, cracked up street. I was just on. I went in the back. I claimed my space. I claimed my boundaries. I spoke my truth. I went back into the house and I look out and the road's all fresh black tar. Like, I'm seeing these miracles, my family. Tune in on that. Like, it was like within a 40-minute span, like less than an hour, I promise. I swear to you guys, the road all of a sudden changed color. I was just driving on it. Like, that's just one thing that's happened that I've been like telling the patrons about, and like the information I'm sharing here. So we talked about the words, we talked about the saliva, we talked about the shape of the cube. And now I've barely even scratched the surface of this cube thing, my family. There's the Tesseract, there's advanced forms of this. Let me go really quickly into this now. We're going to play with cubes. Let's pop up the other camera. First, let's do this. Let's add this back to stream. You guys can see I'm sharing screen time again, right? First, I want to show you this because I'm not going to pop this back up, okay? There's Mario. Mario's a fucking psycho. What movie? Who knows what movie? No Googling it. Mario's a psycho. Pick her up and you give her the test. What test? The Mario test? Okay, anyways, see how Mario's been made out of cubes? Okay. Does anybody know what movie? I'm looking. Nope. No one knows? Okay. Time's up. Someone's going to Google it. Doesn't count. All right. Back. All right. Here's the picture. See how Mario's been made up out of cubes? I'm going to show you this. Now, see how Mario over here is still made out of cubes, but look at how three-dimensional he is. Okay. Do you see this? All right. I'm using Mario as the example here. All right. So yeah, see how there's the pixel one, and then we have the regular one. All right, so let's pop up this camera. Now we're gonna play with blocks. Like Alexander's a giant child. Are you ready for this? I'll play with blocks. All right, let me teach you more about time. Let me teach you more about time and 4D space. Okay, let's get a bunch of these blocks. All right, let's teach you a little real magic today. Not just talk. Let's actually show you how to walk here today, my family. Okay, so what was Mario? To all the video game buffs out there, what was this pixel version of Mario? What was that called? Anyone? Time's up. 8-bit. I don't have time for that. Alexander moves at 1 speed, and it's glued down the gas pedal. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch what he's doing. Okay, 1 cube. You see this? Okay, 1 cube. Now, if we go 8-bit, okay, this is bit ratio. All right, my family, look what we've done here. So now I have a cube again. All right, now we still have a cube made out of 8 parts. Okay, so now you're seeing another cube made out of 8 parts. All right, why is this important? Let me show you. All right, now I'm going to skip by the 3x3 cube, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. We're going to get back to this. We're going to get back to where's the center of the camera? There it is. We're going to get back to this, okay? Because I want to go from 8-bit to this right here, okay? All right. So I don't really find it necessary to fill in the whole thing, but if I filled in this whole block of a cube, all right? If I filled in this whole block, let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 16 cubes. So if I had a full cube, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, 16 times 4. What's 16 times 4, everybody? 64. What was that game called? It was called Mario 64. Okay? Now, I'm going back here. Okay? We're going to go back here because we're talking about computers. We're also talking a little bit about AI and anything that's connected to fourth density. We won't be really going over the ghost stuff today. But when we look at the cube, when we look at the computer cube, and we look at bit ratio, everything's been done with even numbers. This is a fact. Nothing I'm saying right now is spiritual. This is 8-bit. This is 8 bits of information makes a cube. 64 bits of information gives you more information to access, makes the information look three-dimensional, when if you go and you zoom in on the TV and on the computer, you see it's just more tinier squares. There's more packets and there's more space for more information. What was Super Nintendo? Super Nintendo was 16-bit, double the 8. Okay, so that was basically this 1/2 line. Okay, and then it was there was a video game system in between that was 32-bit. So what you're seeing is all the numbers are always divisible by 2. What am I getting at here? Okay, let me show you what I'm getting at here. What's in the center of this? When I get 8 pieces, okay, when I get 8 pieces and I bring them together, what's in the center? I'm going to sip some coffee while somebody answers. When I make a cube with 8 cubes, what is in the center of the 8 cubes? Anybody? Bueller? Nobody? It's just losing people talking about the secrets of the universe. Okay. Let me show you why I skipped over the 27-part cube. And I get it. This isn't for everybody. This is probably making emptiness. Thank you, Nancy. Somebody got it. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in. I know. Math stresses you out. It's okay. I've already done the math for you. Michelle, my bell, I've already done the math for you. You don't need to do the math. Now let's talk about odd numbers. What they wanted us to believe was odd, okay? Because odd is where the creation is. Let's talk about numerology for a second. 1, man in Vedic numbers. 2, woman. 1 + 2 = 3, child, okay? Creation. These 2 people have now made something else. The number 3 represents dance. It represents the arts. The number 3 represents by far the most. It represents public speaking. It represents what your brother's doing right now. It represents painting and making music and babies. The 3 represents a ton of stuff, whereas the 1 is like leadership, beginnings, the man, like very limited. All of the numbers are pretty limited, except for the 3, and the 6, and the 9. That's a Tesla conversation for another day. But now, let's look at the Tesla, not the Tesla, sorry. Saying too much, sir. Let's look at the odd cubes for a second. Okay. Now, this is the last one I'm going to build here. Okay. And this is very simple math, by the way, guys. This is a number times a number. This is called cubing, okay? I'm just showing you the math instead of confusing you with a calculator and just talking about the numbers. I wanted to actually give you a visual aid on how to create and why time is important, because I'm using time to do this right now. This is a cube created out of 27 cubes, okay? 27 adds up to 9, an odd number. What? Sure, Nancy will answer first. What's in the center of it? Something is there. We're going to skip right ahead. It's not empty in the middle. Now, let me show you a very influential, very important number, which I'm not going to build the whole thing. I don't even think I have enough cubes to build the whole thing right now. But let me just give you an example, because now we're really cooking with gas. When we get to 5 by 5, this is a perfect number. It's a perfect number, but it's still an odd number. Let me show you why. Okay. When we have the 5 by 5, we have 25. A 25 row, 25, 25, 25, 25. When we put this way and that way, basically, it's 25 by 25, adding to 125, perfectly divisible. There is a center point. This is the only way. If I used glue, or if I used, better yet, not using glue, if I used solid wooden blocks and I used glass blocks that you could see through, I could have the very center block be a glass block. I could have a cube of 27 by 27 around that. I could have the lines connecting it in a cube on the outside. You need an odd number to create a tesseract. You need an odd number. And everything that the computers are doing is with an even number. It looks symmetrical. It is not symmetrical. Math is symmetrical with odd numbers. And when math is being shown to you, think about every phone you ever had. What did it have? Oh, I have a 128 megabit card. It's got 256 megabytes. It's got 1,000 this. That 1,000, that gigabyte is 1,000, even number. They're all even numbers. There's empty space in the center, my family. So yes, their time, old time doesn't exist. New time, to actually build a beautiful geometric pattern. And this is just the beginning. This begins from the 27-part cube, which is just literally 3. And you just keep going from there. Okay, 3 times 3 times 3. That's what cubing is. Cubing is getting the same number and multiplying it times itself 2 extra times. So 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5, stack it, you have a cube. This is something like, they taught us this in math, but they didn't like actually have us play with these visual aids of playing with the blocks. Okay, so it's like, how many times have we heard about the cubing or a cube without actually like visualizing it and seeing it in this simple way? I know for many of you, I've lost you. I know for many of you, you found something right now, because now that you see it, you're like, eureka, something makes sense here. So what I'm getting at is this: this having 6 empty space in the middle, this having 7, there's a solid point in the middle. This having 9, there's a solid point in the middle. 11, 13, 15, so on and so forth. These odd numbers, which is connected all to this like Tesla work of 3, 6, 9, and all these things. These odd numbers can make something beautiful. I can draw something. So if I go for 64-bit, if you look at Mario again, you'll see how he's not symmetrical. You'll see how he's kind of like awkwardly leaning over because he's been built with cubes. If you start building with cubes, but you have this gigantic number of, now let's go all the way up to 125. Let's have 125 cubes. So it'll be 125 times 125 times 125, big number. Okay, that's going to make these teeny tiny little cubes, but there's a center point. It's the fact of the matter that everything that's on your computer is zeros and ones. Everything that's on the cell phone, how you're watching this entire system and how it was built on zeros and ones, because those are all looking like they're odd numbers, but they're not. This is all even numbers, even numbers, even numbers, which leaves us with hollow, empty space in the middle. And that's why a lot of these things are called holograms. The hollow man from the movie. The hollow man was the guy that was living inside the internet when like the internet first came out. Like I'm dating myself here again, but it's all good. When we have something that is empty in the center, my family, there is nothing to bind it. There's nothing to bound this. And it's these odd numbers of why many of you have been tricked into this belief structure of time not existing. And if I'm not trying to force anybody to believe that time doesn't exist. If your life feels better thinking time doesn't exist, then go on with that. I'm looking for the people that are my fellow hermeticists, people that actually want to work with the real aspects of sacred geometry, people that want to really work with the building blocks of life, because life and all of these things have been built out of these things. It's in the periodic table of elements. It's in everything that we have. Of the first solid matter has 4 points of interest. There's 3 points of interest to make a triangle. That's lithium, because lithium can be your battery that's inside your phone, a lithium ion battery. Lithium can also be a purple gas. Lithium is what is inside of an amethyst crystal that makes it purple. You take the lithium out, it turns clear. Okay? It is the lithium that is the purple light in my belief structure. So happy birthday, Queen. Queen's here, everybody. It's our birthday. Everybody's here. Happy birthday, Queen. We love you, Queen. Where are you? Where are you? Popping her up. Popping her. Oh, wait, that's not you. The comments are moving so fast. Okay. Love you, Queen. All right, I can get rid of that. I can ditch this extra camera now. when we know how to build the next shape, when we know how to build the shape and the container for spirit, we've now just made a container for our spirit upon death. Okay? Whether that death is moving on to the next stage in our spiritual evolution, or whether that death is physical death, knowing how to move the light, knowing how to move the light long enough to actually structure it, to solidify the light, to then make a container for the next level of spirit, is something that we're doing with sounds. It's something that we're doing with frequencies. It's something that we're doing in all of these different ways, but it's something that can be done faster, that Alexander wants to make sure that he leaves this information in every reality that he traverses through going forward. So that's why I'm going to be running this whole course material, as I've said, because then every reality I continue to exist in, this information will exist going forward. This whole Chronos thing, my family, to just go back to the mythology here for a second, what's been taught to us, and looking at Saturn from space. Okay, I totally dropped the ball on writing down the times for all these topics. Veronique, you got me? Looking at this shape, okay? Looking at this shape of Saturn, the circle with the rings, don't you see a head with horns coming out and around it? Okay? This is what was said to be Satan, Saturn. These beings are not praying to the god of Saturn anymore, because it was Saturn that, like, somebody kept trying to control time by castrating the god before them. It was Neptune, who is not Neptune, because Neptune, they moved some names around, they changed some things. So it's the old man of the sea, which is known as Pontus, Pontus, that is actually time. And this is who was also known as Kronos. Kronos means time in the old language. And when we have Kronos, it's said that he was castrated. Someone got a sickle and castrated him. The Grim Reaper, this whole thing with the sickle, the first time we can find that used in any sort of mythology that I've found in my research is in castrating the god, to take time, to take over this whole, the aging process, to take over all these things that are going on why people are finding benefit in believing time doesn't exist. But where these informations, and a lot of the information in spirituality is coming from, is from these naughty people from Wall Streets from the 30s and 40s. Just go do your own research on Alice Bailey. I leave that to you. Look at Alice Bailey's teacher. Look at these people. Like, actually read their eyes. You are my family. You are earth angels. You have the ability to read eyes and see whose eyes are containing evil. Look at these people's eyes, the people that invented their own Jesus, Cthulhu, and why they did all this and what all this stuff took place. That is where a lot of the information in spirituality stems from. So it's a double-edged sword, because a lot of this helped us to become awakened as a collective, but also at the same time, a lot of it is misinformation at this point, that the misinformation has gotten so believed upon in such a strong manner that we've been empowering people that are that we're wanting to have to deal with their karma, like by calling them rainbow-bodied, by calling them Luciferian, when they're not praying to Lucifer, because time doesn't exist. Okay, right? You're saying time doesn't exist. So in that case, why would they pray to Lucifer when there's a point where Lucifer was in heaven? There's a point in the Dead Sea Scrolls where Lucifer is 75% the power of God, and that's what made him go insane. And they chose lusting over human women. They chose to fall from grace. And Lucifer and his tribe and the fallen angels fell from grace. This is what the Dead Sea Scrolls are about. But if time doesn't exist, which it does, the past, the present, and the future happening simultaneously, there's a moment where he's still a good person. Why would they pray to this person? They're praying to the worst of the worst, my family. They're praying to people that want to sacrifice children and hurt children and nasty stuff I don't even want to talk about here, okay? They're not praying to the God of time and what took place. You can see how the mantle of power went from this planet, Kronos, to Kronos, which Kronos is actually Uranus, and this is actually moving over here. And then Cronus becomes Saturn, and Saturn is time. And then Saturn births Zeus, Jupiter, okay? And each one of these boys, okay, has continually been pretending to be God, except for maybe Pontus, Neptune. Neptune's like way over here. Somebody played games with the names. Pontus, if you really research Pontus was created by Gaia and the ether. There is no father. Like it's just like this original primordial ocean deity. The ocean has the salt cubes in it. The salt is the underworld. The underworld is the ocean, rather. And everybody's been tricked into thinking that the underworld and hell is fire and brimstone. Everything is about damnation, water, blocking off waters, blocking off the waters in the body, the waters, the frequency, everything you look about Tartarus and everything that you can find hidden throughout spirituality and mythology, the old ways, is all about water. The seashell open up, the sea witches, the harpies coming down from the other planets and falling from grace to become the sirens, the beings that are inside the ocean. These guys, this is everywhere. I'm telling you, this is everywhere. And your brother sits here and proudly says this stuff that you're not going to hear anybody else say because they're scared to say what I'm telling you right now because they're scared of somebody knocking on the door, coming in. Whatever. I have to speak the truth. I have to speak my truth. I have to let you know the references and the research that I've done as a galactic shaman, as a spiritual individual, and just to let you know what I've found. It's not about fire. My third eye's been on for me knowing it's been on 13, 14 years with my eyes open. My third eye is working right now, right on the camera as I'm looking at the camera. Okay. I've gone down there. There's times I've had to go into the underworld. There's times where I've been doing negotiations with beings that are said to be really, really bad. And everything I can see is just an extension of the self. I see a lot of people that are very, very confused. They're talking about the angels, the archangels, the archangels, the archangels, the archangels, the archangels. There's 72 archangels. So 12 tribes of Israel. Solomon's work, 72 times 2, 72 times 2 is 144. It's 144. It's 12 by 12, the 12 tribes, the 12 priests and priestesses, all coming together as these tribes to get to this number 144, which is a very beautiful and very perfect number that has a lot of significance through spirituality. We cannot any longer, okay, and if you want to continue to do this, it's very simple. You can just click the X at the top. You don't have to stay here, okay? You cannot just look at the, 72 archangels over here when, like, there was, if you look at Solomon's Cave, like just research Solomon's work. There's 72 archangels, there's 72 daemon. There's nothing evil here going on, my family. There's an above, there's a below. It's about getting the shadow. It's about learning what the shadow is, accepting the shadow as the shadow is, and knowing that these are necessary cogwheels in the function of your reality. I promise you. You can look at it like it's evil for the rest of your existence, or you can actually get the work done to see, why is this here? What is the purpose of this? Why has this been here for me? And we can actually get some work done, my family. I know it's triggering. I know everything I'm saying is triggering, but if you go do research on it, this is truth. The person that created these archangels and pulled down a lot of these names that everybody's working with here. Where's the course material? There's limited spaces in my course, obviously. I already have 5 people. You do your thing, baby boo. I love you all so freaking much. I'm not trying to call everybody baby boo. I'm just letting you know that a lot of the things that you've been taught and a lot of your belief structures could be binding you. They could be restricting you. And by just being open to innocence and finding innocence wherever innocence may be, you might find out that there are certain people that have allowed things to be more evil than they actually are and were. And certain things that you've been believing have been restricting the self from embodying the shadow. And by embodying the shadow, we expand our container. By expanding our container, we have more access to what's under the ground. And what is under the ground is the nutrients. It's exactly how a tree looks. Every single dogma, every single religion, everything has the tree. Going as far back as the Samoan people with Tain being the god that separated heaven and earth. The Samoans, all the way like Easter Island family. We've got Quetzalcoatl over here in South America, and we've got Jesus and Krishna all being crucified to a tree, separated by oceans. We got Buddha finding his power underneath the Bodhi tree. The tree is everywhere, my family. Look at the Norse symbology of the tree with the roots, not just the top of the tree. We can just look up at the pretty branches, but the roots are there. The roots are the foundation. The roots are the basement. What does this say? The base mental. The base mental, the solid mental foundation to make sure that we don't have a leaning Tower of Pisa situation here. You can't have a tree that doesn't have roots. It won't function. It won't work. I love you all so freaking much. Course will start on June 24th. We'll be going over this more. I love you all so much. I'll see you very, very soon on the 1st, the latest. And patrons, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you so freaking much. Cheers, my family. Kisses from Sedona. Mwah. Love you.